You're welcome back to Morning Express. Now, for the second leg of discussions on the program, we have in the studio Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, a geospatial analyst, in the studio with us to speak to some national matters. Starting off with a recent hike in air tickets around the country, something that has been attributed to expanding web of federal government levies. A very good morning to you, Mr. Yusuf.
Good morning.
It's wonderful to have you join us on Morning Express.
It's nice having me, and good morning, viewers.
Well, the Yuletide season is upon us, and the holiday season generally is one that people often tend to travel a lot, crisscrossing the country from the north to the south, from the south to the north, all over the place. The roads are busy, the air traffic is also quite high, but there have been complaints about a sudden spike in air travel tickets most recently. What do you say to this? It's always this way whenever the Yuletide season comes.
Good morning again, viewers. And over the times I've always analyzed issue on this forum, I've always make it known that privatization that are controlled by private individual, the law are made by them. Any privatization that is controlled by private individual, hike in price is inevitable. Government must find a way to continue to regulate and control price.
Yes.
Hitherto, before now, it is known that the high in the cost of jet fuel,
Jet A1.
A1 fuel is the reason why the cost of aviation prices normally skyrocketed.
Yes.
But that's what I bet to disagree. Now that we are having our own refinery and we are processing this jet fuel on our own soil, just like what we have in the Anchor Borough and rice production. When we started producing our rice, and suddenly the prices of rice skyrocketed as compared to when you used to import. And I don't know what is wrong with this country. One thing that I think the government should do and the Nigerians should all rally around is that all our private entity must be regulated by the government.
Yes.
You see, there's no business, government does not have business in doing business, but government has business in regulating how business are done in the country. When this Asiwaju-led administration came in, the issue of rice production in the country, I think the government intervened. I think it's high time Nigeria come together and allow the government to own its own private airline so that to pari passu regulate price among the players. But if the industry is left for private players solely, these are the problems we always emanate. So, and there was a time when the former Minister of Aviation, Adi Sirika, was trying to bring in a private private-owned Nigerian managed airways that will make sure that Nigerian people can have a subsidized rate. The private sector...
So like a private-public partnership?
Partnership. So the private owners fought that particular... And there is a cabal in the private, in the aviation sector.
Yeah.
The people that are running that sector are similar to what we have in the petroleum sector. They seems to be more moribund. If you go to the airport and your luggage got lost, you will not see anybody to call on. If you have a flight delay, nobody will address you. They will treat you as if they are doing you a favor. Yeah. In fact, you have bribery. Recently, there are so many opera to the issue of bribery that the minister and even a senator was affected in that particular sector. So I think it's high time those people, the minister Festus Kiyamo and those people who are mining that industry should come up with a broad plan so that they can bring down the prices of this air ticket, because I can't see traveling from here to Lagos paying 300,000 naira for a ticket. It's so exorbitant, even if it's a return ticket at that. And some years back, it's not like that. At 50,000 naira, you are ready to fly. But now that we have the aviation fuel in this country, and the main problem is that when private...
I mean, I remember when it used to be as low as
14,000,
10,000.
2018, I used to have
from Abuja to Lagos, and Lagos back to
18,000 naira. 18,000 naira.
Return ticket?
Yes, 20. No, even just a one straight go.
Oh, 18,000 naira.
2014. 2014. So these are the issue. So the major thing is that our private sector is not regulated properly by the government, and that's the key issue. Because if you allow a businessman to have a day, but making the law and even operating the same law, they will always want to do what will favor them, and nobody don't want to make more profit, because this is the nature of capitalist economy.
Now, Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, it's been decades since the unfortunate closure and demise of the Nigeria Airways. And Nigerians have waited successive government after successive government to find one government that will perhaps take up the issue of a national carrier, airline carrier, seriously. But that has never happened. I mean, during the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, there was something of that sort that came up, but then, it was swept under the carpet. What is so difficult in ensuring that, just like other countries who have national airlines, Nigeria also has its own airlines, maybe not even at a subsidized rate, but one that operates for the Nigerian people, being managed by the Nigerian government?
No, the major problem is that, the way we started privatization after the Obasanjo-led administration took over, and there's a need for privatization. The privatization were handled on a personal ground. People do not look at the nitty-gritty of what is obtainable best practice around the world. In the Asian tiger, like China, Indonesia, they have so many fleets, the Emirates of this world. They have so many fleets. Even the Ethiopian, one of the biggest airline around the world, not even in Africa, they have a regime. Like now, what is coming up from the states in Nigeria, like we have IBOM here, the Enugu here, I think Gateway here is just on the fold now. If the state government...
And quite a number of airports opening up here.
If the state government can come in to subsidize those rates for their people, I think Lagos state government is the right time they come into this foray. If there are so many airlines being proliferated all over there, and they with government-backed privatization plan that is regulated by government, based on the value chain, value addition that is prevalent in that industry. If all these things are put in place, I think the price will go down. Like IBOM here now and Enugu here, the state government do it because maybe they quite travel a lot, and they know how much they cough out in the process of their traveling. So what they will now do is, okay, if we have our own airline, we can subsidize for ourselves. And that's one of the things that born all those state-owned airline. Then as such, if those things are done, federal government needs to come in so that the player in that sector will not continue to hold us to ransom. Because what is happening is just that there are cabal in the private sector run. They form a kind of a clique, and no matter how much, I know for sure Dangote refinery and the government have done a lot. Even recently, the government said they should transact in naira so that the dollar disparity will not come in. But at that, they still go on the high. They want to just internationalize the pricing, which will not go well for our own economy due to the level of exchange rate of naira to dollar. So if they continue on that stride, we will continue to pay higher prices for the. But one thing that is key is government should come in, back so many other airlines, and do a kind of a private PPP, so that that be an arrangement to bring down this price, so that Nigerian can have a field day in the. And our aviation travel route is very poor as compared to.
Why is it poor?
Because of the cost and availability of wherewith to run the sector. Like now, some state doesn't have airport. Now, if you see the route, like Ilorin to Abuja is very busy. Ilorin Lagos is very busy. But Maiduguri Lagos is so busy. Enugu Lagos is busy. Enugu Abuja is busy. After if you can hardly do 10 states around Nigeria that commute within themselves. And this is a very poor one. That should be Kaduna Abuja.
Which is even a short distance.
That should be Kaduna Abuja because of the level of travel. But you find out that if you are looking for a ticket to Kaduna, at some hours you cannot get.
Most people would rather opt for the train ticket rather than
Kano, Abuja, Kano, Lagos. All those routes are very, even where they are prevalent, the number of traffic is very, very low. So our air travel as compared to road and other means of traveling is too low, and it's high time government proliferate a regime in the aviation sector that will make people travel using the airspace a lot.
Now the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been, criticized heavily for its stringent policies on taxation and an ever-increasing, ever-growing tax net that the administration says is meant to better the lives of Nigerians. And one of the complaints springing up from some of these airline operators is the fact that there is an expanding web, they called it an expanding web of federal government levies on airlines. And that is what is now in turn causing the spike in airline tickets.
Okay, let me give you that when the Adesiri car incident was killed by the private owner. If it's not profitable to them, why did they fight Adesiri car?
Who killed it?
They fought. First, there was a protest.
Yes.
And there is underground lobbying to make sure that in fact, the opera on Adesiri car, that's why there is a little bit of corruption in the scheme. But the opera that magnified that case is the private private practitioner in the sector. So these are the things that going forward. What I just want the government to do, to take the bull by the horn, go into the industry and subsidize so many things for other people. So that if you say the thing is not profitable, why are you fighting other people that want to come in? You must liberalize the sector. There are monopoly. How many airlines do you have for 250 million people? How many airlines do we have? In Mexico, there are about 1,000 airports. What is the size of our population as compared to that of Mexico? And the United States, how many airlines travel en route? Ethiopia is we call ourselves the African giant and the biggest one of the biggest countries in the world, the biggest economy. Our airport in Lagos is not to the state of the art. All over the world, private owners of airline maintain and make sure the airport, they cooperate with the government so that the airport is having. It is the government that's spending about 700 billion naira to make sure that Murtala Mohammed International Airport is being taken care of. So what are they doing? When you are making money from the sector, there is corporate responsibility to make sure that that sector is viable. And then one of the things that is killing on this country is hoarding and private profiteering in every sector we find ourselves. Yeah. You will see some bloggers on the internet recently going to China to make sure that they expose some of the pricing mechanism. Any sector that Nigeria go into to do business, we always want to do large profit margin, 400%, 500% profit margin. So when the federal government is trying to go into the sector, open up the space and allow other players to come in, these same private owners rally around and make sure that the government do not take that line. They go to the National Assembly, lobby the National Assembly member not to repeal the law that gave them this privatization that we are currently in all our sector. Even the so-called Dangote world we still need to look into those privatizations. They are not properly done. They are handed over to the big boys and friends and cronies. Atiku Abubakar acknowledged it in one of the interviews that most of the privatization they did was given to their friends and cronies. So it's high time we look into those. Look at what is happening in the power sector also. We cannot get you cannot get meter. You are not metered as at when due. When you are metered, it's exorbitant. Then they start coming up with band A, band B. So if privatization is supposed to bring down the cost. Privatization is supposed to expand the industry. So when you want to hoard it, it's better government come in so that they can protect the interest of Nigeria. So if they are not profiteering, I'm not taking side with the government 100%. They need to play their own part. But if they are not profiteering in that sector, they won't have taken on the former minister when he tried to bring the Nigeria here on board, cooperate. He signed an agreement with one of the best airlines in Africa, which is the Ethiopian airline. So
now, Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, from December 1st, 2025, just about a month's time away from now, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, that's the NCAA, has notified airline operators that they will begin collecting, that's the NCAA will begin collecting an additional advanced passenger information system APIS charge of $11.50 per international ticket. And mind you, like I mentioned, the Yuletide season, apart from the crisscrossing of passengers within the country, you would find a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora wanting to return home to celebrate the holiday season with their families. And now there's an almost $12 charge on every single ticket. Some families could be coming in numbers of 5, 10, or even more.
Okay.
And that is why these fees are being hiked. But why should an international ticket policy affect local tickets in the country?
From what you said, they specify the international.
They specify international tickets, but then there have been complaints of even local tickets being hiked.
The major problem is that from what we have been discussing so far, there is need for government to come in.
But is this a necessary move?
Let me give you one privatization issue that came up during the former SCBN governor. The CBN governor took a particular bill to the National Assembly, wrote how he wants NDIC, the regulator that normally monitor when there is a problem in banks and they need to pay depositor back their money. This is a NDIC. It was supervised, monitored, lobbied for in the National Assembly by former CBN governor, and this was passed. Do you know that he brought NDIC into his pocket just to make sure that anything that NDIC will do, the NDIC scribe as at then made this revelation that as of today, NDIC is a toothless bulldog as far as that new bill is concerned. Even the Dangote refinery, the bill that set up a PIB bill, if you look into that bills, you will find out that the private owners are behaving the same way, that monopolizing the sector, just like what we complain about the government not running business. They want to become a government in that space. So if you do not liberalize the sector, privatization and liberalization of a sector supposed to go
hand in hand.
And in pari passu. So if you do not do that, this complaint will not be eliminated. Then if the government come up that the international ticketing will be charged, the cost of running just to maintain and upgrade Murtala Mohammed International Airport, look at the sum, about 1 trillion naira will go down the drain in 8 years to make sure that place, that's the normal amount of money. So if people flux, our economy is on the rise, a lot of people will come in, then we must checkmate, we must regulate, and this insecurity of a thing, we must be able to have the best, and look at what's happening at the airport now. All you need is just to flash your passport, human contact has been reduced to a BRS minimum, your luggage has been scanned with the best of equipment. So for you to maintain such structure, I think there will be need for a collaboration within the users and the government who regulate the sector. And you know that one of the sector that is a security sector that have a lot of security checks is the aviation sector. So these are the things that I think will make the sector. But going forward, I think government should invest in running some businesses, especially locally, because I can't see myself traveling to Lagos, spending 300,000 naira to get to Lagos. What am I going to do? If I'm doing business, how much am I profiting from that business that will make me spend 350,000 naira on air ticket? So these are the things. What you just need is government coming in, taking the regulation, powerfully backed by government, not private backed. Most of our privatization is being regulated by people in the private sector. And a private sector regulated economy is always having price modulation problem, and they normally go for profiteering, which is not always good for the system.
All right, Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, let's move on to yet another matter in the news this morning. It's concerning the alleged Christian genocide in the country and the refutals of the presidency concerning this. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has stated that the safety of Nigeria and Nigerians is non-negotiable. We also got wind of information that the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs has called on Christians to not let or to reject external efforts to destabilize Nigeria. This is as the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria has its own different opinion concerning this entire situation. It seems to be a little murky at this moment. PFN is saying that, you know what, there is really a Christian genocide in Nigeria. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs is saying, do not let external forces destabilize us. We have always been living in peace and harmony. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has stamped his foot and has said that the security of Nigerians is one that cannot be negotiated by any means.
Yeah.
What is your position on this entire situation?
What the word genocide is the word genocide is something that we should be careful about. Genocide associated with cleansing of a particular maybe religion, ethno, or any other. So if you are using genocide, it's a wrong use of word by those people that pushed it in the United States of America and the president of the United States of America coming up with such a word. And we all know there are so many underlying interests from the back end. Presently, the United States of America is trying to invade Venezuela.
Yes.
And the Venezuela they are trying to invade is a Christian-dominated, in fact, one of the largest Catholic gathering in the world. So if they say they are going to protect Christian in Nigeria, who are they going for in Venezuela? So if you look at we can mention about 10 reasons why America want to come into this our space and do what they call a Christian. When did America start loving the Nigerian Christian? And if you look at the forensic nature of this particular problem, the insecurity bedeviling Nigeria, we do the need assessment, look at the geospatial space where this thing is prevalent. You will find out that it's bigger than religion. There is an economic reason. Most of the sites, most of the area where these bandits are operating are places that have some minerals. And these are minerals being denied to the United States. Rare earth. The control of rare earth around the world now is done by China, because China has about 75% of the rare earth deposit of the world. And likewise, the remaining rare earth deposits are in West Africa. The control of Nigeria, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Senegal. Those are places you can find rare earth. These rare earth are used in driving industry, especially the military industrial complex in the United States. And France is an ally of the United States in military cooperation. All these countries have been pushed out of the West African space. So because the China has taken control, and there's a fight for supremacy within China and the US. So now, the only place left for the US has come to Nigeria in recent times that they should fight Niger for them, because they should continue, and they beg Nigeria for a military space in Nigeria. Since the time of Obasanjo, when
the US has always wanted to establish a military base in Nigeria, a military base for Africa.
For Africa. And the military base is for surveillance. What can they get? All over the world. Check the history of military from the First World War to this date. All military as established around the world, even time immemorial. Military of all nations, they can be resource-based organization that help the country to even loot other country. Military generally, I'm not particular about one country. The only country that has not, only superpower that has not done that in recent time, using its military to intimidate anybody or to steal other people's resources, is China. They have never shoot an arrow on any other country.
Their wars are more economic than actual physical.
No, they are using the Belt and Road Initiative. They are more beneficial to outside. Like now, there are more than 15 rail projects in Africa. 60 to 70% of the rail projects are being carried out by China. Is it in Egypt? Is it in Ethiopia? All the railway that we are doing in Nigeria is done by China. So, tit for tat. But America will bring ideology. You must do this before you. And if you didn't do it, they will bring out sanction. And if they see that you are a slack nation, they will bring in their machinery. The real reason why America want to come in is that when we have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as our president, go and check the history of all Nigerian presidents. They have always gone to the U.S. in the first 2 years of their administration to pay homage or what I would call bend the knee. And the person that we have in charge now seems to know that you don't bend the knee for as a sovereign nation. He stood his ground and said, no, over the years, you must look at what you are gaining for somebody before you go. And we have not gained anything that is of economic benefit. The trade surplus within Nigeria and America over the year has always favored the Americans. So we have to rejig, we have to re-strategize. And when Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in, he said, no, we can't continue this way. This Dangote refinery that you are seeing was about to be made moribund. The policy that America used to imply on making sure that they run down any economic step making by any nation, they apply it to the Dangote refinery. It's not going to work. We are here. Yes, that the team will not come up. There are so many issues.
But then it is working
now. It works. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Buhari-led administration play a critical role in making sure this thing underground, to make sure that this thing come up. Look at the open issue, very easy, which I did not take side in any of them, but as at that, there are some people that are still seen want to make sure that they sabotage this particular.
Let's talk about the involvement of China in all of this.
Yeah, now
the U.S. is a world power, China is a world power.
Yeah,
and we have seen situations of the U.S. threatening countries like South Africa for wanting to join.
I told you we have about 10 reasons why America wants to come in.
Yeah.
Now
now let me land.
Yeah.
There have been speculations that the decision or proposed decision of the federal government to join the BRICS is one of the reasons why the U.S. is on its toes at the moment.
Yeah.
Also, the U.S. feels like it is slowly losing grip on on countries worldwide as a world power, and that China is gradually taking over in this race of world supremacy, leadership in terms of world supremacy. And the U.S. is not happy about that. Are we more friends with China at this moment? And do you think that in the event that push comes to shove, China will stand in for us?
You see, Nigeria can stand on its own. Let me give you that. Okay. Nigeria can stand on its own.
Okay.
We are very, very intelligent people. No country in the world can intimidate Nigeria. We've got what it takes to stand for ourselves. So China or no China is one thing aside. But one thing that I want you to know is that there is international diplomacy. And at any time in the last 30 years, America has been more than 10 countries, bombing those countries and destroying those countries. Those countries are not functional today. And anywhere they go, they leave sorrow, they leave pain, and they leave destruction. And they steal their resources. They loot, they go for spoils of war.
Yeah.
These are critical things that the United States of America does everywhere they go. And now, immediately they start talking about China is trying to make sure that Nigeria can find its feet. Nigeria signed a pact with China on dollar during Buhari tenure, and on ZN and Nigerian naira, so that would be a swap. America called the presidency and truncated that deal because the presidency then seems to have loyalty to the American government. But when Asiwaju haven't learned from the Buhari-led administration, this is thing that will make. Why must dollar come between all the trades around the world? Who gave them that right to say that at every transaction? Do you know that if you buy anything in the world, like something produced in China, if you buy it in dollar, America is making profit from that thing. They do not do anything
just because they have the dollar.
They have the dollars. Who does that? So the American economy is suffering what it's suffering today. Is not backed by any produce. Like now, if you look at China, they are in Nigeria. If you go around Kubwa Expressway, they have more than 3 of their company with a magnificent headquarters, magnificent building. More than 10,000 Nigerians are working with them. They are doing technology transfer. Likewise, Japan. So now, when you want to make a friend with somebody, you look at what does that person contribute, the value that that person brought to you. Now, what America will tell you is that no, we have some people in America. We don't longer want them. We want to come and dump them in your country, and you don't dare say no. If you say no, then you'll be punished for saying no. Who make them feel they have that right to control the destiny of other nations? And these are the things that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration said, no, we must be on our feet. We must push up for our nation. Then we must come together. So, and every nation in the world have lines of divide. Yeah. Even family that are the same religion, the same, the moment you have family that are the same religion, the time you start growing, there will be differences. Yeah. That's a fault line. America normally look for a fault line in any nation and make sure that they use that fault line to divide the nation. And they know that Nigeria always excited when the issue of religion. So that's why the people that pushed it to the United States, and the United States has come in, they do not know that despite our differences and the problem we have the wherewith to curtail and in the nearest future to make sure that. And one of the things that Tafawa Balewa said at Independent is that there is no independence for any nation that does not have economic independence. And one of the countries that has been on our neck with their policy from the IMF to the World Bank, to their company and Shell, Chevron, their method of doing business. Club. But everything they are doing has always held Nigerian backward. So if this country is high time we get a good riddance to ban rubbish, as far as I'm concerned, in the issue of the United States of America. So we must close rank as a nation to know that Nigeria first before you can practice Islam or Christianity in Nigeria.
Well, Nigeria first, Mr. Yusuf Muyideen. We have gotten the position of the PFN concerning this matter. We have gotten the position of the NSCIA, that's the Nigeria Council for Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. We've gotten the position of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But much recently, over the weekend, we saw a protest, taking place that was organized by members of the Shiite group, in which they were dragging the flag of the United States on the ground and chanting "Death to America," chanting "Death to Donald Trump," and saying that the U.S. has no business whatsoever in Nigeria. On one hand, while the comments of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs is commendable in trying to douse the fire, it appears that what the Shiite group has done is pouring more fuel and igniting more fire than we already have. What is your own assessment and analysis of that action?
You see, there is a lot of things that we have to look at how it started. And when somebody displays a particular action, you look at their background. One of the most protesting organizations around the world has always been the Shia. They are tool in trade. In fact, in their celebration, they have procession. That they will wear uniform. They have so many things they celebrate in the Shia school of thought. So they go around. They like moving in procession. So what I want to say is that some people, they have shown their trademarks, and they have all over the year shown a particular trajectory. So sometimes when they have debacle with the Nigerian army, those things that happen. Every Friday,
a lot of times killings in Kaduna,
every Friday they will see that national mosque and mosque. They have an exchange with the police. So that come a time that immediately they see any issue, even the Palestinian issue, they will see them go to town, and they just believe that's their own way of expressing their. So sometimes when there is a peaceful procession, if you mind them, like when we have a forum like this, if you are minding them, you are even amplifying their. Because let me tell you one thing: sectarianism is the bane of religion in Nigeria. Even if you live entire community with one religion, the sect in between that religion is enough to continue to fuel tension. I'm telling you why Nigeria is so unique and so difficult to say you want to come is because of the multipluralization of many religion and sectarianism. So everybody on our own, we have we have problem within ourselves. So I don't see why an outsider will come and continue to come and foil this progress. So some people are not to be taken serious if you want to really solve a problem. I don't think the minder of the United States, they know them over the year. And Iran is the spiritual home of the Shiite. And America and Iran are always at loggerhead. So,
but then when you say they shouldn't be minded, I don't think that the Shiite sect is too small to not be minded, considering the fact that the case on the table right now is a Christian genocide. That yes, some Nigerians have refuted, others are saying yes, there is a Christian genocide. The US is involved. The US is coming from a position of wanting, in quotes now, to save Christians that are being persecuted in Nigeria. The Shiite sect group is being backed by Iran. The US and Iran are not allies at all. In fact, if there's anything, they are foes on the international stage. Saying that the procession of Shiite members in this matter should be ignored, I don't think is one that anybody should adhere to at this point.
So just like the America, they want to nip, they want to reap where they do not sow.
Okay.
Shiites too. That's why even in the America, they are not to be minded, because Nigeria is 250 million people. That's 250 million destinies. Souls that have commune with their maker, will go to the spiritual realm. So when I say you should not mind them is that, what is the footprint of these people? Let me tell you one thing. Procession and protest is what makes Shia popular. So if you continue to mind them, they will be gaining traction. So, and they have their footprint. So what I want you to know is that there are some things we don't come on here to discuss. But one thing is that in Islam, there are more than 50, in Nigeria today, there are more than 50 other sects. So if one person is trying to, out of 50, one person is always making, and they always have a route where they normally do that. That's why I say, if you look at the geospatial space of Nigeria, they have a very minute influence on the remaining Islamic community. That's what I'm trying to say. And in their operation, if you are going around town and you see mosques, some of them used to carry inscription that shows this mosque belongs to a particular group. Have you ever seen any mosque that belongs to Shia? No. So we must be very careful with the way some people operate. So what the major thing is that we must come together at this time, and then there are people who want to benefit. Let me go a bit comical. I saw something on social media. All this some comedian and skit maker. He said Americans should bring the war. That they have been what war have we not seen? In fact, the war that we are fighting internally and the way we have been dealing with each other, we are already dead. So if America just come and finish the job. But one of the comic actors said, well, whatever happened, he will make sure he do not die. In that
want to die.
He will not die. He would hide. He will go into the bunkers and hide. Then after the war, there will be so many gongo. You know this scrap.
Yeah.
To pick up that he will become a billionaire after. You see, these are the things.
As comical as it may seem.
So these are some people are waiting.
The seriousness of the situation.
These are what some people are trying to see happen. That's why some people are merchant of war, and they benefit from the spoils of war. So they will continue to beat this drum. But he who have so much to lose must be very careful, and that's why all the intellect, all the wherewith that we have, all the coordination that we can do, we must hold ourselves as one, irrespective of the different divergent opinion. Nigeria must be great. And American that want to come in, the real reason why they are coming in for the first time in our life, we are becoming economically independent of any nation. Our food production is soaring high. The president has an eye on the ball to make sure that we expand our food production net. Then energy sufficiency. When you get the petroleum sector right, you can drive the issue of energy. Because some of the power stations are run by gas. So if we are self-sufficient in production of this gas, our power and our energy sector will thrive. And when you have energy, they say energy is ability to work. And then when a lot of people can work, the nation will grow. And these are the things that America and this president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is calling the bluff of America. And Nigeria must rally around him so that we can get to the promised land.
Now, the president said that the security of Nigeria is non-negotiable. But I want you to compare this in contrast to two occurrences in Kogi and in Katsina. In Kogi, we saw people taken to the streets to protest in a certain community over bandit attacks, incessant bandit attacks in Kogi, close by, to the Federal Capital Territory here. Meanwhile, in Katsina, bandit leaders had pledged to end attacks after a certain peace parley. If the president says that the security of Nigerians is non-negotiable, why are we holding peace parleys with bandits?
You see, even America that made this statement, they say they want to use carrots and stick. When Donald Trump went to Iran, he made the announcement, and the pace of 2 days, I don't even want to know the name of that jet bomber, was already at the site to level the Iranian nuclear facility. He said, I'm considering. Before you know, he has moved to site. Nigeria is not a country that you can just wake up somewhere at the heart of Washington and said, you because we are multifaceted and there are so many dynamics to this issue of insecurity in Nigeria. Now, as for the bandits and what they are saying, they are catching their last breath. Because recently there's a change in the security chief, and the new chief of army staff, Shuaibu moved swiftly into the theater of war. And the new Air Command wing said they should not be spared. So in the coming days, we will know who got the 4 aces within the Nigerian army and the so-called banditry. And let me remind you, in the United States Congress, it was asserted that the United States, in the Congress in the United States, that the United States is funding so many armed groups around the world, including this ISIS and the Islamic State or West African province, and which is an offshoot of the Boko Haram. It was acknowledged at the Congress in the United States that there are funding that go to those people to continue to constitute mayhem. Now,
funding for ISIS and ISWAP.
Yes, in the Congress in the United States, there's a video of the House Committee on Defense and International Relations was questioning one of the security chiefs as to the funding for groups around Africa. If the United States has funded militant groups around the world, one of the cause of this problem we are trying to solve today is the United States of America itself. So they cannot come and claim that they are not culpable in this whole case. But the only problem is that we have problem in our hands. We must put our eye on the ball and make sure that we come together as one. I will still state it clearly. There must be a Nigeria before there will be Islam, Christianity, free thinker, whatever religion you want to practice. You can't practice it in Nigeria if there's no Nigeria. And America doesn't care. The same Trump said this is a shithole continent.
And now he's calling Nigeria an already disgraced nation.
So you are coming to shithole to do what? So we don't need you here. You should face your debacle with China. We wish you, I don't even know what to wish him, because over the years they have cost us more damage than
now, Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, let's not wish the US or the US
I don't know what to wish
anything.
Them.
Like you said, let's not pay attention to that. But still staying with this discussion, the presidency had released a statement stating that Nigeria had recorded an 81% drop in terror-related deaths since 2015. That's about 10 years now. But we have also seen the UK, on the other hand, flagging states like Borno, Yobe, and others as high risk for travel. This is quite concerning. While the US is shouting at the top of its voice, with Donald Trump and its incoherent statements at times, we're seeing the UK warning its citizens to exercise extreme caution, and review safety procedures and ensure that they have contingency plans in place, even if they are going to go to Borno or Yobe, hotspots of the Boko Haram insurgency.
Mother, if you go back since time of IBB to date, this type of warning by the United States and the United Kingdom, more than 1,000. Don't go here. You see, what are they even looking for in Nigeria? They should stay in their own country. And today, the economy of America is collapsing. When they talk about Islam,
I mean, the government is...
Let me tell you, they talk about Islam.
On a partial shutdown at the moment.
There was an election in the United States recently. They are trying to come and help Christians in Nigeria. More than 32 Muslims won election due to the influence of
including
Islam.
the mayor of
New York. Where did Donald Trump emerge from? So they cannot save themselves from same Muslim domination in their own country. They want to come and save Nigeria from. You see, there are so many things. Nigeria is the most peaceful place in the world if we can understand ourselves. And then we come to religion tolerance. Let us do analysis of the growth in the missionary of Christian the last 20 years in Nigeria. The biggest church auditorium in the world, where is it sited? The biggest congregation, the largest church sects, Pentecostals around the world, the richest men of God in terms of vineyard of the Lord in this world are located where? And in what era did this happen? It's still in Nigeria. So it does not correlate that we have religion intolerance in this country. If there is an expansion in the missions of Christ within this year in this land, and somebody now want to correlate it that in this same country, the footprint, so a pastor came out that anywhere there is polling unit, he has a church close to the place in this country. That's about 120,000 churches. A pastor said it. And if you can spread in that realm, So where is the religious intolerance? How do you correlate that? So we have to be careful as to what we wish. We have to be careful.
Now, this time around, we are shifting away a little bit from the issue of a religious genocide.
I just want us to. This is a Nigerian TV.
Yeah.
We are Nigerians. The passion for our country to be peaceful should be above any consideration.
Now, what I'm talking about is this particular country's states mentioned, Borno, Yobe, are in the northeast, and we all know the history of Borno and Yobe and Adamawa regarding the Boko Haram insurgency. Well, we might not include Adamawa now because the insurgency there has been doused almost to a complete stop. Yeah. But in Borno and in Yobe, we continue to see pockets of attacks in villages by Boko Haram terrorists up until today.
Yeah. You see, if this genocide, that issue is not coming, there's a lot of angle that we can look at that. How the Boko Haram itself started. Yeah. You see, there are some issues that that's been developing this nation into as a leadership problem. Any governor that withheld the subunit fund and do whatever he likes with it, even if he's doing the right thing, as is worse than a Boko Haram person. Any governor who deny local government their funding has open and ungoverned space. And the primary responsibility of government is to provide security. If all these governors allowed local government to function optimally, no local government chairman will open his eyes and see some people moving and will not raise alarm to the governor. But when you relocated the responsibility of the state to the government house in the state capital, you are opening up the space for an ungoverned space. The councillors are not allowed to function optimally. There is no democracy in the local government. There was a time in this country, more than 500 local government do not have elected officials. And we are practicing democracy. And these are the offshoots. These are the things that led to this Boko Haram. So there's a need for us to sit down and look at the way we govern our space. And that's what started in Borno.
Yes.
Because we look at the time that local government are allowed to remain moribund, and look at the time that this insecurity start to fester. This is one angle. Then constituted authority like the chiefs, emirs, and other things. I think it's high time we give them a constitutional role in their domain. That bill in the National Assembly should be expedited so that emirs, obas, AZs, and all these are chiefs, local chiefs, should be given a constitutional role to work in tandem with the local government.
While all of these suggestions that you've made, Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, are very fantastic, I want us to face the reality on ground. The presidency said that terror-related deaths had dropped 81%. Is that the reality? Hold on to that thought. We have seen killings in Borno, we have seen killings in Yobe, we have seen killings in places like Zamfara, in Kogi. The Southwest is dealing with its own issues. The Southeast has its own problems. The kidnapping in the South, kidnapping for ransom. And most recently, in Southern Kaduna, that we had seen a certain level of peace returning to. In 1 week, Sukapu says that 14 people were killed and 30 people abducted in renewed attacks in Southern Kaduna. How so is it that with all of these problems bedeviling us, security-wise, the presidency is still saying that we are winning the war against insurgency?
You see, that is a message of hope. That is a message that will demoralize our spirit. And the government will continue to give, because it is a renewed hope government. No matter what they are doing, I don't want to take side, because when you reel out the statistics, as a statistician myself, I don't like taking side on unverified statistics. But the office of the NSA were critical about during this genocide claim by Trump, came out and bring out a real-time picture of the heads of most of the unit shells of this Boko Haram kingpin and banditry. Most of the head has been exterminated, and most of the people that are powerful among them have been killed. And when you remove the head, there will be hectare-scatter movement by the splinter group before they regroup. So what the government is trying to say, based on they act at the theater of war based on the statistic they have at the NSA office and other security agencies who are on the job. They are the one that knows the surveillance they are making. They have the tool, and they are watching. And a governor came out and said, I can see the movement of this. I know where they are. Sometime I will call the security agency. Before we get there, they have disappeared. So these people that are on it, the commander-in-chief of armed forces, they are in position to reel out data. And Sokapu may get some information. But you will now look at 14 people as at the number of the head of this insurgent group that have been killed. About 300 that the NSA reel out.
Yeah. 300 bandit kingpins.
Yes, they have that the reel out. And there are facts, there are pictures, and some of them have been arrested, and some of those shell has collapsed.
Yeah.
But those people, that is that's a bandit group, maybe somewhere in Indonesia, Tamil Tigers or so. Yeah. They have lived for more than 30, 40 years now. They are still, but what I'm saying is that the government is trying its best, and we should not allow this issue to snowball into something bigger. The payload of the American bomb do not visit any nation, and the nation will remain the same. There are people that said their military is wired to make wife become widow, to make children become orphans, and to make a nation hitherto stable go into disarray. The American army is proud to see itself as such, and no nation is spared.
Including Nigeria.
That's the way they see themselves. So we should not pray for the thing they are wired to do.
All right, Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, quite an interesting discussion with you. I think it's a fine place to leave the discourse. Always a pleasure to speak to you in the studio.
You are welcome. Just wish the nation the best. Let us keep on being Nigeria. Nigeria is the greatest country on earth.
All right, in Mr. Yusuf Muyideen's words, Nigeria is the greatest country on earth. And I will certainly agree with that. This has been it on Morning Express. I've been speaking to Mr. Ahmed Yusuf Muyideen, a geospatial analyst on matters of national security concern.